The first scream tore through the warm afternoon like a blade, sharp enough to make the world stop for a heartbeat. Little Kendra, no more than 7, barefoot, her cheeks streaked with dust and tears, burst out of the narrow alley behind the diner with a terror most adults never taste. Her tiny chest heaved as she sprinted across the sunlit parking lot, straight toward a row of massive motorcycles gleaming under the daytime sky. The engines were off, the men beside them silent, broad-shouldered, tattooed, leather-vested riders who looked like they'd walked straight out of a different world. Yet the moment she reached them, she collapsed at the boots of the biggest one, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. And when she finally managed to choke out the words, "They're beating my mama," every biker froze, their faces turning to stone. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for the helpless, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul. It helps more people hear stories that inspire hope. The man she'd fallen against was Bronx Keller, leader of the Iron Haven Riders. To outsiders, Bronx looked like trouble, scarred knuckles, a jaw carved from anger, eyes that had seen too many roads. But to those who truly knew him, Bronx was something else entirely. He knelt, his shadow stretching across the hot concrete as he lifted the trembling girl into his arms. Her thin body shook violently, and through the sobs he heard words that lit a fire in him. "Please, they locked the door, they won't stop. Mama can't get away." Behind him, his crew, Raptor, Silo, Torch, and Gray, exchanged glances that needed no explanation. Bronx stood up with a slow, controlled breath, the kind men take right before they step into danger. He stroked Kendra's hair once, gently, then handed her to Torch, the calmest of the bunch. Without a single question or hesitation, the men moved, 5 engines roaring to life, 5 hearts pounding with one purpose. The alley was only 2 streets over, but the ride felt longer, the tension heavier. Every turn Bronx took, he felt the weight of a child's hope on his shoulders. Kendra's words echoed again and again. "They're beating my mama." Some men deserved forgiveness. Others deserved a door kicked in. They reached the alley in under a minute. The house Kendra had described was small, peeling paint, a broken fence, and a door that shuddered with violent thumps from inside. Bronx didn't wait. He didn't knock. He didn't hesitate. One heavy kick blasted the door inward, and what he saw made his blood run cold. A woman, thin, bruised, her hair matted with sweat, was cowering against the wall while 2 men towered over her, drunk and raging. The moment the bikers stepped in, the room shifted. Silo and Gray moved first, grabbing the men before they could reach for bottles or excuses. Bronx didn't lay a hand on them, he didn't have to. His presence alone made the air tighten, his glare sharp enough to slice through every drunken lie. Torch carried the woman outside, making sure she could stand. And when Kendra ran into her mother's arms, the sight softened even the hardest faces among them. The woman, Marla, held her daughter so tightly it seemed she'd never let go again. Bronx stepped back, letting mother and child cling to each other. But he wasn't done. The 2 men responsible were taken outside and kept in place while Bronx called the police. Not a single biker raised a fist, they didn't need to. Their silence, their steady stares, their towering presence did more than fists ever could. When the officers finally arrived, the situation was already under control. Marla, still trembling, tried to thank Bronx, but her voice cracked. She stood in the warm daylight, sunlight glinting off the handlebars of the parked motorcycles, her daughter clinging to her side. Bronx tilted his head, his voice softer than anyone expected from a man built like a storm. He told her she didn't owe him anything. He told her she had done the bravest thing, surviving long enough for help to arrive. The bikers didn't leave immediately. They stayed until the paramedics examined Marla, until Kendra stopped shaking, until both had water, blankets, and reassurance. Bronx even made a call to a local women's shelter he supported quietly, ensuring Marla and Kendra had a safe place to go, somewhere far from fear. As their bikes rolled away, Kendra waved from the back of the ambulance, her little face calmer, safe, hopeful. Bronx lifted a hand in return, a rare smile touching his scarred lips. Sometimes family wasn't blood. Sometimes heroes wore leather and steel. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul. Your support helps spread more stories of courage, compassion, and unexpected heroes. Special request, comment, protect the helpless, if you believe kindness is stronger than fear. And with the sun high and warm above them, the Iron Haven riders disappeared down the road, leaving behind a little girl, her mother, and a brand new chance at life.